If you consider yourself an Android purist, there really aren't that many options out there for you in 2018 if you want a clean Android experience. In fact, besides a handful of Android One devices which typically don't have flagship features, there's really only the Pixel 3 and the OnePlus devices like the OnePlus 6 and the OnePlus 6T to choose from. Now, both of these devices, the Pixel devices and the OnePlus devices, do have their compromises. Pixel 3 smartphones are typically more expensive with premium hardware for the camera, while the OnePlus 6 and the 6T have a downgraded camera experience, even though they have higher resolution sensors. But to see if those trade-offs really make that much of a difference, we're going to be doing a side-by-side photo and video comparison between the Pixel 3 and the OnePlus 6T to see if the price difference and the hardware difference is really noticeable between the two. Let's take a look. We're going to start things off with taking a look at the camera hardware on the Pixel 3. So the main camera on the back of this phone is a 12.2 megapixel camera with optical and electronic image stabilization paired with an f1.8 28mm lens. As you can see, there's a dual LED flash with laser, and there's also phase detect autofocus. But the hardware actually gets interesting when you look at the front. Here you have two front-facing cameras, both of them 8 megapixels. The first one is paired with an f1.8 28mm lens, just like the rear camera. But the second one is actually an ultra-wide angle lens, f2.2 19mm lens. And I'll show you right now exactly what that gives you. So the front-facing camera on the Pixel 3 gives you the standard 28mm, but when you switch over to the 19mm lens, you get a much wider field of view. This allows you to fit in a couple extra people into your selfies or just give you a better look at the background and the scenery in your shots and videos. When looking at the OnePlus 6T and the camera hardware here, you actually get two sensors on the back and one on the front. Both of the ones on the back capture images at 16 megapixels, even though the secondary one is actually a 20 megapixel sensor, but both of them are paired with f1.7 25mm lenses, which is slightly wider than what you get on the Pixel 3. And then for the front-facing camera, you have a 16 megapixel camera as well that's paired with an f2.0 25mm lens, which again is slightly wider than the standard front-facing lens on the Pixel 3. When it comes to video capture, both devices can record 4K video and also super slow motion at 480 frames per second when you bump down the resolution to 720p. But the OnePlus 6T actually has the advantage in 4K video recording, being able to capture up to 60 frames per second compared to the Pixel 3's only 30 frames per second. And then 1080p video on the OnePlus 6T can go up to 240 frames per second, while the Pixel 3 can only do half of that at 120 frames per second. On the front side, both cameras can record 1080p video at only 30 frames per second. Now that we're all on the same page when it comes to the hardware of the cameras on these two devices, let's take a look at some side-by-side photo and video comparisons to see how these two devices compare in the real world. case you were wondering, today's video is being recorded at the sand dunes in San Luis Obispo. We've been sledding down the hills all morning, and I guess now it's my turn. So, time to go. Go! Go again! Woo-hoo! I didn't die! Hello, what you doing? After looking at side-by-side photo and video comparisons between these two devices, I honestly have to say it's really hard to choose which device has the upper hand. If you're simply looking for the smartphone that captures the better pictures, my vote pretty much goes for the Pixel 3 simply because it has higher dynamic range in the images that it captures, a little bit better clarity and detail, and also much better results in low-light situations. But if you're mainly recording video, my vote goes for the OnePlus 6T. As you can see, the image stabilization for the front-facing camera is really good, and the audio quality that you get out of this device is much better than what you get out of the Pixel 3. As you can hear, the audio quality from the Pixel 3 is not really that good when compared to that of the OnePlus 6T, and that's due to the aggressive noise cancellation that Google's programmed into this device. But I honestly have to say, I do enjoy the ultra wide angle lens on the front of this device, simply zooming out, giving you an extra field of view that you simply can't get on the OnePlus 6T. But I'm also interested to hear what you guys have to say about these two devices and how their cameras compare. Please leave a comment in the section below and let me know which device you think takes better pictures and videos. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.